So we need to talk about the scarcity versus abundance mindset. So I met up with a guy I knew in primary school. I met up with him last week. I haven't seen him since primary school, more than 30 years ago. So he's in the film industry, and he told me, and I asked him, just that's a tough industry to get into. How'd you do it? He said, the first 6 months I didn't get paid 1 cent. I worked for free. I learned as much as I could, and I built a reputation of being reliable, responsible, the guy you can count on. And today, our film industry in South Africa is collapsing because of various reasons. He's gainfully employed. Why? Because of his reputation. And that all comes down to the fact that he made that choice, 20, 30 years ago, of what's more important, the short term now making a salary versus the long term learning, getting into an industry and building a reputation. And I guess that's the first lesson of the first difference. Someone who has a scarcity mindset thinks very much short term. Someone with an abundance mindset thinks of long term opportunities. So the next contrast is a person who has a scarcity mindset is dictated by their needs. So their needs dictate what, for instance, do you need to play games for 8 hours a day? Do you need to have a drink or 5 at the end of the day? Do you need to pay rent and do the short-term thing that'll pay your rent? Or do you make sacrifices for the things that you want in the long term? Because it's very hard to get what you want, but you're always sacrificing for what you need. So yeah, sacrifice that, make the sacrifice of buying cigarettes, buying alcohol, using that money for other things, putting the money away, spending that time to do other things that builds, again, long term. Then someone with a scarcity mindset will have 1,000 excuses. They'll have 1,000 reasons why they failed. They'll have 1,000 reasons why it didn't work, why they didn't hit their goals. Whereas someone with an abundance mindset has no excuses. They know they don't have an excuse. It's all on them. And that brings us to the next one. Someone with a scarcity mindset will very quickly abdicate responsibility. It's not my problem. It's not my job. It's not in my job description. You deal with him. You deal with it. Whereas someone with an abundance mindset will take on responsibility because they know that being a more responsible person leads to more opportunities in the future, because people respect people who are responsible. So this one is just an observation that I've made. Can't really say why it happens, but I've found people who have a scarcity mindset tend to talk a lot about other people. They talk about other people and what other people have done, whereas and sometimes it's quite like they're jealous. Whereas someone with abundance mindset talks about ideas and opportunity. Sure, you'll say, hey, did you see Frikkie? He's got a lack in your Ford Ranger. Kif. You don't, I'm not jealous of Frikkie. I celebrate the fact that he's doing well for himself. He's worked hard. He's earned that Ford Ranger. Let him enjoy it. I'm not jealous of his success. A person with a abundance mindset sees there's a big pool of opportunity for everyone, and a saying that goes around is a high tide floats all boats. If Frikkie's doing well, it means that there's more opportunity for the rest of us. If you have a scarcity mindset, you tend to be dependent on other people. You're dependent on other people to get what you want. You're dependent on other people for all your opportunities. If you have an abundance mindset, you create your own opportunities. But when you have a scarcity mindset, you tend to jump from opportunity to opportunity because you don't make the best of an opportunity. You don't go long term. You see, okay, this salary is so much, you jump to that opportunity. Okay, this job, the salary is so much, you jump to that opportunity. Eventually, it just makes you look unreliable. I know several guys. Then he sells kitchens. Then he sells solar installations. Then he's doing landscaping. Then he's doing this. It's a guy I actually used to work for, who's now. I mean, he asked me for a job a while back. Okay, totally inconsistent. He's focusing again on the needs. I need to do this. He doesn't focus on the long term opportunity. Someone with the abundance mindset, again, he's consistent. He shows up. What does consistency do? It builds trust and reliability. People see you doing the same thing. If they see you today and see, hey, like my case, you're the handyman. Great. If they see you in 5 years again, you're the handyman. Yes, I didn't jump around. This is still me. This is what I do. It's not your identity, but this is the service you provide for people. So yes, I'm still a handyman. I can still paint your house. In our business, that's quite huge, because then people can say, okay, well, as an example, if you paint my house and there's a problem in 2 years' time, you are consistent. I can rely on you to sort it out. Someone who's inconsistent is not reliable in that sense. So it builds trust from others. So in the same vein, people who are having a scarcity mindset are consumers. They again rely on the ideas and the opportunities of others. People with an abundance mindset tend to be creators, and we're not talking about big. You don't have to be Elon Musk. You don't have to create a huge business. You don't have to be Picasso and create amazing paintings. It's again creating opportunities, creating value. I think that's the bigger thing here: creating value for others. So someone with a scarcity mindset is absolutely terrified of failure, because they have everything tied into this thing, and if they fail, they can't meet their needs. So now the opposite of that is obviously to be prepared for failure, to understand that you are trying ideas and it's not always going to work out. But failure is like dealing with failure is like building a muscle. It's something that you get more resilient. It makes you more resilient. You get better at dealing with it, and eventually, with the more failure you have, actually, the more success you have. Whereas if you just want to stay in one place, there's no opportunity for growth. So a story of someone who got totally tied down by the scarcity mindset. A guy worked for me. He was a really good bricklayer, plasterer, tiler, a very good wetworks guy, masonry guy, pretty good at carpentry. When I worked with him, everything was fine. As soon as I brought other people into the picture, it was a disaster. He refused to teach anyone else how to do the job. And he's thinking, I spoke to him about this at length. If he teaches someone to do the job, then I don't need him anymore. And that person, I can pay the other guy less to do his job. And I said to him, okay, that is your mindset. My mindset is, if you teach others to do the job, we scale. You get to then manage these people to do the job. He was not interested. He did not see that. He wanted to hoard the knowledge, hoard the skills for himself. The opposite of that, people who build huge businesses actually build systems that make other people more efficient. So what does all this really mean? It really means that poverty is not a wallet problem. Poverty is here. Poverty is a lack of seeing the world in terms of opportunity. And it comes down to the stories that you tell yourself. The story you tell yourself about what you deserve and how the world works. So now, unfortunately, the downside of this that I've now seen, because I've seen it from both sides. I was in a relationship with someone who had a total scarcity mindset. There was never room for improvement. There was never room to, okay, we can't do that because it's a waste of money. We can't do that because you need money to make money. So we don't have money, so we're never going to get anywhere. It's not about making money. It's not about having money. It's about creating value. So unfortunately, a lot of people who have an abundance mindset can smell the scarcity mindset, but you can't, vice versa. You can kind of see it, but you don't quite know how to identify it. But someone with the abundance mindset can see someone with a scarcity mindset. It comes across as needy, it comes across as desperate, and they don't want to deal with you. That's the bottom line here. They actually don't want to deal with you. If the actions you take come across as needy and desperate, they move on. They don't need those kinds of people in their life, because those kinds of people, again, needy. People who are needy become a liability. Then if we get into a relationship and you are needy, you are dependent on me, you're my dependent. I am carrying all the weight. I am carrying I'm taking all the responsibility in the relationship. And I don't want that. Therefore, if you really want to swim with the big fish, you need to adopt the abundance mindset. So look at yourself, and trust me, when you see it, I mean, I've always had an inkling of it. I always, like I said, you need to be a yes person. You need to be a selectively yes person. But yes, you need to be a yes person. You need to be a positive person, positive outlook in life. I've seen the negative as well. It's a deep, dark pit that a lot of people can't get out of. But if you make the choice, if you look at yourself and say, okay, this is a habit that I can change. This is a habit that I can adjust. This is a choice this is a better choice I can make for the future. That will start showing up in everything else you do, and you will see relationships improve. You will see everything else in your life improve. Okay, so the last point is, in the long term, opportunities will always expand, depending on your choices now. There will always be more opportunities in the future than there are now. Right now, you only have so many choices, but the choices you make right now can lead to more opportunities in the future. For instance, do we just sit and wallow in our sadness? Do we enjoy a great holiday and get drunk? Or do we plan a new ad campaign, take some money that we don't spend on alcohol, put it in an ad campaign that leads to more business in the future? My default is always to do the latter, to invest into the future.